director here at Move Fitness, and I'm here today to teach you the basics of a squat. And this is going to help with your squat challenge. And Darius, this is Darius, he's going to be the model today. So we're going to get started. The basics of a squat, we'll start, I'll have you face me, okay? So the most important thing when you're squatting is, or one of the most important things when you're squatting is going to be how far apart your feet are. So what you want to do is get about shoulder width apart. Now this is going to vary for if you have certain things that are going on, knees, back, that'll vary for you. So, but we'll get to that in just a minute. So the first part of a squat, okay, you want to feel your whole foot on the ground. So nice and grounded, and you're going to open your feet just slightly 5 to 7 degrees, okay? And you're really gonna focus on your posture when you're squatting. Okay, so if you want to think of the spine and standing up as straight as possible and not changing that as you squat down and then as you stand back up. So the integrity of your posture is always going to remain. And the way that we do that is by activating muscles. The tendency when we, even on the basics of squatting, right? So sitting down and standing up from a chair. The tendency is to bend straight down, the downward movement, okay? And when we do that, you saw his posture, so go ahead and do that again. Forward, and those knees bent right away. So what that does is that puts the pressure on your joints, so tendons, ligaments, and it's not activating the right muscle groups, okay? So what I'm gonna show you is, what we're gonna show you today, is how to activate those larger muscle groups, so even the basic movement of sitting down and standing up gets easier, and as you do your squat challenge, to make sure that you're actually activating all those muscles all the time, okay? So the first part of a squat would, like I said, it's not going to be bending right at the knees and dropping the head. What you want to do is it starts at the hips. So you want to drive your hips back slightly. Good. Okay, and then once you're there, you're going to want to sit straight down from there and lower yourself. Good. And come back up and squeeze the butt, the glutes. Okay, so the main function here is going to be the activation of the glutes, the strength of the core, and the quadriceps and hamstrings. Those are our main muscle groups. Okay, so I'll have you do that squat one more time. Focus on breathing, hips back first, sit down. You don't need to go any further than 90 degrees. So go ahead and do a couple of those, Darius. Okay, hips back, core tight, straight down, straight back up. Okay, and as you stand up, good. Drive through your heels, squeeze your butt, and see how he comes to a nice straight posture every single time. And keeping that posture as straight as possible the entire movement. Okay, so that's your basic air squat, and I'll show you from the front side, so go ahead and face forward, Darius. And watch how he sets his feet, open slightly, 5 to 7 degrees, okay? Focusing on his posture, okay, big inhale. And go ahead and lower yourself, hips back first, knees out, standing back up, squeeze, okay, good. Hips sit back down as if you were sitting into a chair, and stand straight back up. Good, core stays tight and activated the whole time. All right, so good. So what I wanna do, a lot of times when we squat, and I'll have Darius show you, what happens is you'll see that your knees will internally, they'll fall towards each other. The idea is to keep it so that your knees are lined up with your shin, which is lined up with your ankle out through that big toe, okay? So go ahead and show where your knees come in, okay, and then come back up. So we want to prevent that from happening, because once again, that means that force is going straight into your knee joint, and you've stopped activating your main muscle groups, the core, the glutes, the quads, and the hamstrings. So we'll do one more front squat properly, okay? So remember, hips back first, and sit straight down. Look at how that angle right here, beautiful. And then stand straight back up, bring those hips forward, chest stays nice and tall, and one more. sit straight down, keeping these angles in mind, and then straight back up, squeeze. Good. Now, I'm gonna show you a variation on that. So if you're feeling that, just a plain air squat with nothing else, you don't have any spot of any kind, but you're still feeling it in your back or your knees, what I would like you to try is just grab a chair. If you're at home, it's great. What that's gonna do is give you a spot so that once you sit down into that chair, you're going to have the ability to activate the muscles to help bring you back up rather than falling into your joints, which are going to be your knees and your back, okay? So, bringing the chair over. Here we go. So the chair's not gonna go anywhere, so don't worry about looking backwards. A lot of the tendency, you're looking back, I don't wanna fall backwards, so don't worry about that. That chair won't move, okay? Standing straight up, getting your feet in line and hips straight back. Core stays tight. Once you tap, come straight back up, hips forward, right to that nice aligned posture. Hips back. Good. Drive through the heels, stand up, and again. Here, and that's going to give you that spot that you need to kind of give you a slight push forward into your muscle groups to be able to activate those muscles properly. Okay? Good. So now, and you can do all of your squats on a chair or even on a couch or something like that. Try to find a chair because it's not too soft, you won't sink back down into that. Okay. Now, if all of that is still bugging your back or your knees, or let's say you've had a knee replacement recently or anything along those lines, this is going to be your third variation, okay? So I'll have you make your way down to the floor. Good, so you're going to keep your knees bent, okay? And feet are going to be the same distance apart, maybe a little bit closer when you're on the floor. But what you want is just making sure that your feet aren't too close together or too far apart. Okay, so you don't want here and you don't want here. Yep. Just right straight out from the hips. Okay? Now, one of the big keys here is you want your lower back, your lumbar spine. Usually when you lay down, you're gonna feel a little space between your lumbar spine and the floor. So you're going to tilt your pelvis or your tailbone, and you're gonna bring your tailbone towards your heels so that you close that gap. You wanna feel your lower spine on the ground, okay? What that does is that helps you to activate your core. And the most important part, the center here, that'll help protect your back as you're learning how to activate your glutes and your hamstrings. Okay, so lower back on the ground. You're gonna drive into your feet and go ahead and lift up your hips. It doesn't have to be super high. Just so you feel those glutes activate, come back down. Good. And keep that lower back on the floor. Good, and one more time. Up. And you can even use your hands on your glutes to make sure that they're nice and active. And you're gonna come back, you're gonna come back down. Good, and it doesn't have to be too fast. You really just wanna focus, bring your mind into your muscles to help really activate those muscle groups. One more time, lift up the hips and drive through those heels because that's gonna help you activate those glutes as well. Keeping that core nice and tight, don't forget to breathe and come back down. Good, awesome. And that's your third variation. Okay, so go ahead and step on up. So we have the air squat, which is just completely your body weight. You can use a chair if that's a little bit too intense for you. And then that third one is gonna be the glute bridge on the floor. Okay, so if you have any questions, please feel free to email Holly. I know she'll attach her email to this. And good luck on your challenge, guys.